How's everyone doing today? Griffin here with Coach Kim, not Gim, Coach Kim from the gym. So today, guys, kind of a fun topic. We went out and just said, "Hey, what type of questions do you have?" So we've got, I think she said we got 5 questions. We can certainly, spiderweb off these a lot.
Yeah.
But come with whatever questions you have. We want to make sure that we're helping you whenever you have questions. You don't have to wait even for kind of our weekly talk. So throw these out there whenever you have them, and we're certainly going to answer them. So, Kim,
Yeah.
welcome to the show. We've got
Okay.
some good questions we want over real quick. So tell me
Yeah.
what we're starting with.
Perfect. Yeah. I love these questions. I think everybody will benefit from them. And we're going to try to make this as short as possible without going crazy. But let's start with the one that I hear a lot of questions on, and it's about supplements. Which ones should we take? Which ones should we avoid? Which ones are a waste of my money? Because we like to kind of go for those shiny things and the new
Yeah.
fads that we hear about. So you give me your list and then I'll add it because I know that we have a lot on the same and then we can
Yeah.
add and chase.
Well, let me preface this. If your nutrition stinks, supplements aren't going to do anything. They're just flushing them down the toilet. So one of the things you said, what's the waste of money? They're all a waste of money if you're not working out and you're not eating healthy, right? So I
100%.
believe that supplements are like maybe at best the last 5% of your results, maybe. Um, that being said, there are a handful that I use. I'm going to throw this out there as well. Protein bars, protein shakes, protein powders. I don't count those as supplements. I think that's going to fall more into the food category, just based that they have high macros. Most supplements are not. So, in my opinion, the number one supplement everyone should be taking is creatine. Man, woman, young, old. It is the most studied supplement in the history of supplements. If you look it up, you're going to get a laundry list of benefits physically, mentally, to the brain, to the muscles, for recovery, everything. Great thing about creatine, it's like the cheapest supplement out there. I got a one at Costco, 185 servings. I think it was under $20.
Yeah.
So, and it has no taste. You stir it in your water. It's a powder. That's the number one on my list. Outside of that, your fish oils, your multivitamins, some of those things I think are important. Again, I think those are there to assist and aid what you're doing with your nutrition, and not simply just, I take this so I don't have to eat good.
I 100% agree. I think creatine is really crucial, especially as we age. I mean, there's lots of science around, especially for women as we age, that brain function is big. I would say the only time you need to be careful is if you have a kidney issues. If you have known kidney issues, just be wary and talk to your doctor about that. But drink enough water when you're taking
Yeah.
creatine. They go hand in hand. Don't do one and then drink, 6 ounces of water all day.
Sure.
I 100% agree with that. As far as the supplements, as far as the proteins and stuff, the only time that I would say protein powder, I don't care for the protein bars and stuff like that. I think it has too much junk in it. But I do believe that protein shakes can be considered a supplement if you're, say, a vegetarian and
Sure.
you need to supplement that protein. However, getting in the real stuff, it's going to help you up here and it's going to make you feel more satisfied and all that kind of stuff. The ones that I 100% agree with the fish oil, it's omega-3, not the 6, omega-3, vitamin D3. I think every single person in the colder climates need it. We absorb it from the sun through our belly. And I don't know when the last time you walked around in belly shirts all year long, but I certainly don't. So we need that supplement. We oftentimes have to double it up in the winter, is what I've heard. So that's a really, really important one. And then I would say, if you're not tracking for fiber and you're not getting enough fiber and you are constipated, you need some fiber supplement, possibly. Sun fiber is the one that I would recommend for that. But I agree on the multi one. So yeah. Everything you
One thing
said,
with fiber, start slow as well is something I've
break
heard.
it up.
Yeah.
Don't take that whole scoop.
And I've been hearing, I haven't done my due diligence and full on research on it, but magnesium is a really big one that's kind of a talking point with a lot of people now. Now, that
Glycinate.
being said, my knowledge of magnesium is there's a lot of things that fall under that umbrella. Like there's a lot of different types of it.
Yep.
At this point, I can't tell you off the top of my head which ones to take, which ones are not. So,
I know a little bit about it.
okay.
Glycinate is the one that we want for muscle spasms. If you're having muscle spasms, if you're having muscle cramping, you are low on magnesium, glycinate. If you are backed up in the bathroom, it's citrate. So don't get them mixed up, or you may be running to the bathroom more continuously, but it also helps with sleep. So I
Yeah.
take mine at night before I go to bed.
What are your thoughts on a pre-workout or a post-workout? That's a big supplement that a lot of people have taken in the past. Is that something that you like, that you suggest?
I think I'm all about natural. So I used to take pre-workouts, and
Yeah.
now my pre-workout is a cup of coffee, a
Okay.
cup of black coffee. That's all I need. I think whatever, it doesn't sit in my stomach very well. I don't like ultra
Yeah.
sweet stuff, so that stuff just kind of gives me a rotten butt feeling. So I don't do it. I know that they're popular. Is it a little psychosomatic? It could be. Get a good night's rest.
Yeah.
It may not need those pre-workouts.
And a lot of pre-workouts, there is going to be, it's caffeine and creatine in a lot of them. So
And
that being
watch
said,
protein shakes too, because that a lot of times those have creatine in them.
say that again.
Protein powders will a lot of times have creatine in them.
Okay.
So, but see, look at your labels and really check that out. I would say the other supplement that it was kind of, I know some people are still taking it. It's the perfect aminos.
Okay.
So, you know, they are not included in your protein intake, guys. So if you're taking them, it's good for recovery, muscle recovery, things like that. They claim to be 30, 40, 50 grams of protein. You cannot count them in on your protein intake. I would say the people that could use those are the elderly, because we have a lot more muscle wasting. It's good for the recovery and stuff. But if you're getting in good, clean, whole protein, you don't need those perfect aminos. Save your money, go buy a nice steak.
So that being said, guys, the supplement industry, if you look at the amount of money that people spend, it's higher than even on like the fitness industry, more than gym memberships, more than trainers. And the reason being is people look at it as it's a quick fix for a lot of people. So there's infomercials on all the time, or magazines. If you ever get a fitness magazine, there's more articles on supplements or advertisements for supplements than anything else out there. Um, People like to buy it thinking it's going to change the world. I've tried a bunch of them over the years. Uh, I have noticed very, very little ever. Um, that being said, it's obviously a big industry. So just do your due diligence
And don't you agree, Griffin? The number one supplement out there is getting in enough water. Just get in your water. I mean, it really will change everything. It'll keep you fuller. And like you started out with, before you start adding something to, why don't you start getting rid of the things in your diet that are not, leading you to your goal? And then ask yourself before you take a supplement, what am I trying to fix? What am I trying to fix? And see if there's if you're trying to build muscle, get into the gym, lift some weights.
yeah, I mean, people take supplements because they want to feel a certain way, but if you get rid of a lot of the things that are making you feel that way, it's going to be better.
100%, I agree.
All right. Question number 2.
Yeah. How to maximize recovery and avoid overtraining.
Okay. Well, I would say this. Our philosophy is 3 to 4 strength training sessions a week. If you're doing that, and then on the days that you're not here, you're being active, playing pickleball, going for walks, taking your dog out, I don't have that many concerns with you overtraining. That being said, there's some people that like to work out more frequently than that. And I just say this, not every workout has to kill you. Like get moving around. So, Being sore is not necessarily a sign that you're overtraining. Sometimes that's just you're hitting a muscle that you haven't hit in a while. If you're new to working out, you do need more recovery time. Like it's very hard for me to get sore at this point in my life, but I've worked out very consistently for 30 years, something like that. But recovery is the biggest thing out there right now with saunas, with cold plunges, with sleep becoming a bigger thing. Everyone that you talk to about recovery is like, none of it matters unless you're getting your 7 hours of sleep a night.
7 to 9.
7 to 9, yeah.
7 to 9. I agree. And I would say, if you're prioritizing sleep and you're fueling your body for the work that you're doing by, getting in enough protein and stuff, and listen to your body. If you are freaking exhausted all the time, it may be a sign that you might need a day off. And I also say, if you're in a building phase, if you're in a fat loss phase, I think you can get away with, even getting in that sixth workout. But if you're in a building phase, you build when you rest and recover.
Yeah.
I really, really push, depending upon if you're a person that naturally burns high calories. I have some clients like that, and I'm like, you gotta slow it down. Take 2 days. And they're probably the hardest 2 days of their entire week is to just have 2 rest days.
Right.
But if you're trying to build and your calorie burn is so high that you have to eat a bunch of crap in order to get your calories up high, I say bring it down, reduce the amount of calories you're burning, and fuel your body and keep your body fueling really healthy, because you're going to have a lot less body fat to lose, because whenever you build, you put on a little fluff. If you start putting on too much fluff, you got to keep those calories healthier or keeping them down by not getting in crazy amount of workouts. Bring down the cardio if you're building, turn up the cardio if you're trying to drop a little body fat. So I think listen to your body as well. I know that if you are overtraining, that's when you start getting sick. That's when you start getting injured. And I know that you just listen to yourself. Listen to yourself, but also don't take that to, oh, I'm a little tired. My toe hurts. I'm going to skip my workout today.
Yeah. Yeah, there's we've had so many cases of people with injuries, some things that they just always have to work around. I would rather find a modification for you to work versus just taking a day off. We've been pretty good. If it could be a leg day and someone could come in here with a bum wheel and we'll still make it through a workout. So I'm not that concerned with overtraining. If somebody is, I think that might be a little bit more of a one-on-one conversation so we can kind of hear the personal story of what's going on. And it might be your nutrition's not lined up with where it needs to be, because proper nutrition will help. It might be not getting enough rest days. It might be taking some of those tactics with the cold plunge and some of these other things that are certainly available to a lot of people as well.
I 100% agree. Understanding body recomposition, losing fat while gaining muscle.
So that's the trick, right? So when I'm the one that does all of our consultations, right? So not everyone, 90% of people come to us because they want to lose weight. So when I'm sitting down, it's like, what type of goals you have? I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to lose 40 pounds. And I always try to preface it. I said, the goal's not to lose weight. The goal is to lose body fat, because there's a big difference. If you want to lose 50 pounds and you lose 10 pounds of muscle, technically you're down 50 pounds, but your body fat percentage might not change that much. So conveniently, I've got these models here, right? So this is 5 pounds of body fat. Okay. This is 5 pounds of muscle. So it's significantly smaller, probably, I don't know, maybe a third the size. So people always want to say, I want to lose fat and build muscle. Now, that is really hard to do, not impossible. It's hard to do both at once. If you're beginning at lifting, so a lot of women will come to us, they haven't done a strength training program. We'll still see those women generally gain between 4 and 6 pounds of muscle over the first 6 months. But if you've been working out regularly, it's tough to do both at once. It just is, because muscle is going to grow off generally a surplus of calories. Losing body fat is going to be in a deficit. So changing our composition is super important. So Julie, who I just posted a video of Julie had an amazing transformation with us. Her scale said, I think it said like 14 pounds difference, something like that. And she was excited. She felt good. But when we did like her recomposition test, she lost 20 pounds of body fat and gained 6 pounds of muscle. Yeah, that's 14. Yeah. So it was a 26-pound swing, not 14. And that makes all the difference in the world because her body fat percentage went down 10%, which is like crazy high. So there's a lot of scales out there. There's handheld devices that can tell you your body composition, but that's certainly something to monitor. But that's where that strength training is so important. And then, Kim, we've had clients, Renee is one client that comes to mind. We didn't change anything with her calories. We changed the type of calories she was eating, and her transformation was crazy.
Lots of clients, or they just have zero weight loss at all, but their body composition changes tremendously. I think definitely can you drop a lot of weight quickly? Yeah, but sustainability, you don't want to end up skinny fat. That's the word that I think draws that picture to anybody's mind when you go skinny fat. Everybody can kind of pull that person up. That is when you just drop the calories and you are not prioritizing protein.
Sure.
Protein is that building block of muscle. If you are not getting in, 0.8% of your body weight, and I push to 1%, 1 gram per pound of what you weigh is, I think, what you should be getting in. Once you hit your 50s, I think it needs to be higher. And of course, you need to get that water in, stuff like that. Leucine is that supplement that helps build lean muscle mass. So there's a difference in the quality of protein you can get in. When you're taking, don't be drinking, 5 protein shakes a day. And especially if they don't have leucine in them, make sure that you're getting in real animal protein because that has automatically leucine in it. It's the #1 amino acid that's needed. And you hit on it. The people that respond quickest to that muscle synthesis are people that haven't worked out before, people that are really heavy and they haven't, or they've never worked out. All of a sudden, their body responds really fast because if you've been working out and tearing those muscles and tearing and repairing, they don't tear as easily. You can ask yourself, when was the last time I was a little bit sore? If you haven't been sore in a really long time, maybe it's time to up those weights. So weightlifting over cardio, hands down, prioritizing that protein. And it's not, calories for maintenance is one thing. In order to drop body fat, you need to be in a deficit. In order to really build lean muscle mass, you need to be in that little bit of a surplus. And with that surplus comes that fluff. So in our program, in phase 2, that's when you drop the body fat. If somebody comes to me saying, hey, I want to build muscle, the first thing I ask is, do you have body fat to lose? Because we're going to do that prior to building lean muscle mass. If we start surplusing you and you already have extra, now you're just adding extra to that. And then by the time you build it, now you have to drop, an additional 15 pounds instead of getting lean and allowing your body fat percentage, when that drops, your lean muscle mass percentage goes up. And now your body becomes that, fat eating, calorie eating machine. It's going to be a lot easier to put you at a surplus. And oftentimes, once that body fat comes down, muscle mass goes up, I start giving you more calories, and all of a sudden your body's like, ooh, and you continue to lose weight, surprisingly.
So the older you get, the faster your body will lose muscle unless you're doing anything about it. And if you're not lifting, you're going to lose muscle mass at a fast rate. I forget the statistic off the top of my head. Kim, maybe you know it, but this is an example of like muscle is hard to gain. It is. So like when I'm having consultations, I'll say the average person with us, female, may gain 4 to 6 pounds of muscle over the course of their first 6 months with us when they're brand new. I said, after that, you might be looking at 1 to 2 pounds a year. That's not, when you hear that, that's not all that exciting because it sounds like a lot of work.
And it is, it's harder.
It is. It's really hard, right? Like you can lose, we've had clients lose 100 pounds of body fat in a year.
Yeah.
I don't know that maybe we've had a couple of people hit 10 pounds of muscle gain over a year, but not much. So
No.
I work with a nutrition coach. I've worked with my nutrition coach for almost 5 years now. And when we met at the beginning of the year, he's like, what are your goals? And we're kind of talking about things. And he's like, your goal should be to gain 3 pounds of muscle this year. And his name is Ryan. I'm like, Ryan, that's it, like 3 pounds. He's like, well, dude, that's what it takes, man. It just, unless you're gonna get on some injections and steroids, that's what it's gonna take. And so when you see these people that have these crazy, crazy physiques, most of it is synthetic or fake, or they're doing something above and beyond. But muscle just takes time. And so if my goal is a 43-year-old male who eats 3,000 plus calories a day, lifts 4 to 5 times a week, if my goal is 3 pounds, like that's where he thought my max would be, start looking in the mirror and recognizing that, like, well, if that's his goal, my goal is certainly, for the majority of people, probably going to be less than that in terms of what's realistic.
And then let's touch on the subject of people that come in there, these ultra athletes, because I've worked with quite a few.
Yeah.
They want to drop weight, but then they have these big races, totally different nutrition for the two. And you have to be, if you want to build lean muscle, you have to be willing to go through that calorie deficit. If you want to be faster in your race and you want to drop that body fat, that comes first. It's very different than, just, lifting heavier. Although, once again, I think that in that building phase, it's a lot harder than it is to drop body fat. I think dropping body fat is easier, actually. I know I'm probably going to get hate mail for that one, but it's easier. It's hard to get people to eat X amount of calories. I know. I mean, I'm constantly yelling at Mark, you need to eat more. I'm not building, but eat more, right? Poor guy, eat more. You probably have the exact same thing. Some days are really, really hard to eat that volume of food when you're maybe not be that hungry. And also, once you've been lifting for a while and you've dropped that body fat, remember your workouts. I think this is kind of a misconception too. When you first get started, let's say you have 50 to 100 pounds to lose. When you first start working out, you're like a burning, melting machine. A year into it, you're not burning as many calories when you're working out because you just took the 100-pound vest off. Yeah. So beware of that as well. Just know that they're different. It's almost impossible to build lean muscle mass while you're in a calorie deficit. Why it's important to have enough protein. This is a misconception too, that since I'm not working out right now, I don't need the protein. You need it even more because that protein helps you sustain the muscle mass you currently have. And we're just revealing that. And then you need those weight. You're not going to build lean muscle mass by just getting in your protein. If you're not getting in the weight bearing exercise, it ain't happening.
So last thing, then we can kind of go to the next question. If somebody wants to, let's just say somebody says, I want to put on 10 pounds of muscle, what's the easiest way to do it? The easiest way is going to be to gain a lot of weight. Maybe it might be 20, it might be 30 pounds, and it's not all going to be muscle. Most of it's not going to be. And then you knock off the fat because it's an easier phase. It's a lot easier to build muscle when you're okay with that fluff that Kim's talking about. So a lot of these athletes in the off season, they'll have like a bulk phase where they're bumping up their calories a lot. They're gaining weight and then they're taking the body fat off because it's such a faster process versus gaining muscle and only muscle at one point, because it's just such a slow process.
Truly. Mentally exhausting for certain. Yeah. How do you stay fit while traveling?
Well, I guess it sort of depends on what does that mean. We've had, I just had a conversation with Angie Elwin, who's overseas. She talked about how, she's down 10 pounds since I forget where, she's in some European country or something, but she's active. They're moving around. They walk everywhere. You're preparing your own food. You're not drinking alcohol all the time. You're still working out. I mean, how? It's the exact same way as when you're in town. Yep. You've got to choose a lifestyle that you want to live. You've got to choose what your priorities are. If you get all your joy and fun on going on vacation, going to these all-inclusive places, pigging out and drinking heavily for a week, that's fine. Yeah. If you're okay with the cost what it's going to cost you. And if it is, that's fine. I've gone on vacation many times and just said, I'm just going to kind of do whatever I do and then I'll figure it out when I get back. If you're okay with that, do that. But if you don't want to come back bloated, If you don't want to come back feeling fat, you got to work out. You got to be active. You got to make smart choices. Usually you're eating out 2 to 3 times a day on a lot of these vacations. So what are you eating? Um, but how do you do it? The exact same way that you're here.
And let's just touch on spot on. I agree with absolutely everything you said. And then remember, you're not making short-term choices, you're making long-term changes. So does your vacation have to look like a, freaking frat party,
Yeah.
gone wild? Or is just your lifestyle different? If you had to explain what your perfect healthy lifestyle looks like, what does it look like? Reduce the amount of just process stuff while you're gone. I mean, that's an easy way to stay on track. Maybe going from the 5 meals I usually suggest, maybe you're dropping it down to just 3 and you're not snacking in between your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Maybe you're stay hydrated. That's like a big one because thirst will camouflage itself as hunger all the time. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid to be the weirdo like I was asking for the no oil on that thing. And maybe you don't have to if you're at an all-inclusive because they make those dessert trays look amazing. Maybe you don't need dessert at every single meal. Maybe you're like, you know what? I'm going to save my dessert and I'm going to have it on Friday and I'm going to really enjoy it and I'm not going to think about it.
I
Maybe
sort of feel I feel like you're calling me out on my last vacation because I had a dessert after after every. But I
well,
came home and I felt like a swollen whale. So yeah, I paid the price. Um, but back to that, like we went to New York City for vacation. I know you were just there as well. I get like 20,000 steps a day
easy.
about 1 time a week here. When we were on vacation, I think the lowest I had was like 25 or 27,000
Oh,
steps. So my energy
yeah.
level was way, way higher. Way
Yep.
higher. I know people when they go like to Florida vacations or Disney, they're walking around all the time. Or even like when people go to the state fair here, they'll be like, I had a 30,000 step day.
Yeah.
So you're active. You've just got to make the choices that you want to make. I think working out early is your best thing you can do.
Yeah.
Also, getting in a lot of water is super important because you're going to be drinking a lot of, I should say, you're going to be generally, alcohol consumption is higher. Eating saltier foods and things like that are going to be probably more common on vacation. So carry your water, have it around with you. I think just
I
make it,
also I pick a hotel that is close to a gym that I can use.
yeah.
Maybe I'm a weirdo, but if it has a gym in the place, that's the first thing that we look at. Does it
Me
have
too.
one treadmill and a dumbbell? Probably not going to be enough. I mean, when we were in Montana, that's how we chose the place that we wanted to stay. I'm like, do you have a gym access someplace close or a gym that I can join?
Sure.
They happen to have an affiliation with a big gym right across the street. That's why we chose that particular place. When we were in Arizona, we picked the house based on how close it was to a gym. You can pick if you're traveling for work, this is a big one. If you're picking the hotel that you're staying in, if you have that option, do you have a store nearby? One of my clients that travels a lot, she does a thing called Instacart where she signs into her Instacart. I never even heard of this. And she has groceries delivered right to her hotel room and she's washing them in the
Perfect.
bathroom sink. I mean, you can do it if you want to. If you're looking for an excuse to just eat out all the time and pig out, and you'll find that too.
I was got on like an Instagram rabbit hole on something. I came across a fitness guy and he was just talking about eating in general, but I think this could be applied to vacation. He says like not every meal has to be a celebration. Sometimes you can just eat and it doesn't have to be over the
If you feel
top.
like crap in your body, what are you celebrating anyway? You're
Oh
not going to
man.
feel like celebrating.
I thought that was just an easy way because it's, one of the things a lot of people look for on vacation is like, where are we going to eat? Where do we want
Yeah,
reservations? Where has the highest reviews? Where are we going? And all those things are fun. And I think you can do that. You could probably go to any restaurant and have whatever you want. But if you
yeah,
keep it once a day and not, this place has the best breakfast, this place has the best lunch, then we're snacking, it's going to be tough. But I think you got to go know what your goals are when you're going there. You've got to be willing to implement. And then this is a really big thing here. If you can succeed when you're on vacation, when the circumstances in your environment are challenging, it's going to empower you to do so much better when you're at home. But if you go there with a goal and you completely flop on it and you don't put any effort into it, it makes it really hard to pick up when you come back home. It
And
just
you
does.
have to know what your goal is. Get crystal clear on what you actually want to accomplish. One thing, Amanda went on vacation and I had said to her, she said, I always end up eating chips by the pool. And I said, do you feel sexy eating chips by the pool? Or are you going to feel sexier in your bathing suit eating an apple or munching on some grapes or something? She's like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, I can't get that out of my head. Well, sometimes you just have to ask yourself those questions because I don't know. I've never felt sexy eating potato chips. Especially in the heat. Ooh, I just blow up like the blueberry chick. But yeah, just know what you want and then align your actions with your goals. Right?
perfect.
Last one. Snacks in between meals to keep you full until the next meal.
Well, I think you can go at this a couple of different ways. One, you could just have bigger meals and not snack. So that would certainly help that. Fiber was something that you brought up earlier. Fiber and protein, whenever you can incorporate those into meals, they're going to be more filling.
And
The
water.
problem with snacks is if you go like I've joked with Eric. So Eric, if you're listening to this, like Bearbell protein bars, they're delicious. They're better tasting than regular candy bars, in my opinion. The problem is I eat it, it does zero for my hunger. All it
Yeah.
does is make me want to eat another one. And I'm like, these are the complete opposite of why I bought them because now I'm 2 bars in and 400 calories. And
Yeah.
then my
Because
meal at dinner.
they're made out of that processed stuff that it doesn't turn off the ghrelin hormone in our brains.
So, protein, beef jerky. I'm the guy that buys the big bag of beef jerky. Um, I don't know how big it is, a pound or 2 pounds. And I literally just keep it in my car and I'll snack on that when I'm driving or when I'm going somewhere. Um, but it's something you've got to prep. If you're looking for a snack, you're going to end up in a vending machine, which is going to have a Nutri-Grain bar being the best option for you. Um, you've just got to plan. So I personally do a lot better if I don't do a whole lot of snacking. My snacks might consist of a protein bar and a protein shake, where I'm getting 50 grams of protein in there. I'm not a big apple or any of that type of snack. Um, but I personally like to have bigger meals. If I'm having, 2,500 calories during the day, I'll probably leave, 1,200 for dinner and then split up the other, whatever that is, 1,300 between breakfast and lunch.
And when it comes to snacks, I probably have a little bit different philosophy. I think that people pigeonhole themselves into what a snack is. Is a snack a protein shake? Is a snack a protein bar? To me, a snack can be a turkey burger. A snack can be, a piece of salmon. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be that kind of a snack. So, like you said, protein and fiber and water are the three things that are going to fill you up and satisfy you the most, both physiologically and mentally, because they digest the slowest. I would say if you're hungrier at a certain time of your day, that's when you should be giving yourself more calories. Give yourself the calories where you're the hungriest. If you are a person that wakes up in the morning, you're famished, give yourself more calories then. And before you say, if you've eaten your snack and you're like, oh my God, I'm starving. Well, chances are you're not starving because you just ate. So I have people set a 10-minute timer on their phone. Have some self-control for 10 minutes. Practice impulse control for 10 minutes. Sit there. Don't fill yourself with water trying to forget this thing. Sit there with the feelings and ask yourself, am I hungry enough to eat a big bowl of broccoli right now? If the answer is no, that's not what I'm hungry for, you're not hungry. You are either stressed, boredom is a big one in between meals, especially after dinner. If you are that after dinner snacker, I mean, Mark's a prime example of this. He can get done eating friggin' 2 burgers and a potato and everything else. And 3 minutes later, I'm really hungry. I want some hot buttered popcorn. You're not friggin' hungry. He's
Right.
just that snack that he's just used
Well,
to
that's
having.
where like on Mondays, I coach in the morning, I coach in the evening. I'm doing all sorts of stuff. And I don't really feel that hungry throughout the day because I'm busy. Like people always talk about when you're at home, you open the refrigerator 100 times a night because you're kind of just bored and you don't have anything to do. So a lot of times I think it's like a fake hunger. People eat when they're bored. People eat when they're bored all the time.
Bored,
Um,
stress, anxiety. all the things.
all the above. And snacks that we're talking, most quick things that are processed are going to be garbage for you. They're not going to do a whole lot nutritionally for you.
They
They're
make
not
you
going to
want
fill you
more.
up. What's that?
They make you want more. You can't eat just one potato chip. You just can't. I've
No.
tried. You can't do it.
And so I think it's just you got to have a game plan. So a lot of like you're a pre-tracking stickler, like pre-track, but sometimes it's just having a schedule that you need to do. Come up with a list of things that you need to do during the day and go execute those things. And it can keep you out of the kitchen. It can keep you your mindset on what you want to accomplish. Um, but you,
You know, and I have a client that we just recently had a chat because she's like, I don't know what my problem is, Kim. What you know, right before I'm making dinner, I'm really hungry, and I'm like, I totally get this because I used to always kind of like that snack that I was snacking on while I was cooking. So what do? I actually pre-track for a snack right as I'm cooking, whether it's celery and hummus or whatever. I can still have that. You can give yourself 6 meals in a day. It doesn't matter. So break it up, but give yourself more where you're hungrier. But if you just got done eating something, I guarantee you hunger is not what you're feeling.
yeah, and then it's also just, and we probably hit on this earlier, but whatever you're eating during the day is going to add up. If you eat 2,000 calories and it's lean protein and vegetables and some good carbs, volume wise, it's a lot. If you're giving yourself a cheat, I hate the word cheat because that's not really how I want to look at it, but like a higher calorie meal with a smaller volume, of course you're going to be hungry later. Of course, because you didn't hardly eat anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Cheese and Ritz crackers. One of the things that I love to say because good Lord, I could eat my entire calories for the entire day with like a tube of Ritz crackers and some slices of cheese. Boom, it would be gone. And I'd be like, what's for dinner? I mean, you can't.
well, so this is like the hardest discipline for me is when you go to a restaurant and they have like the bread that they serve you, or like the worst is a Mexican restaurant with tortilla chips. Like they usually will cut a tortilla into four. So four chips is a tortilla. Four chips is a tortilla is like 100 calories, right? So think about how many chips are in a basket.
And then they're deep fried fresh.
Then they're deep fried. So let's just say you eat 16 chips, which isn't all that many. You're dipping it. Are you dipping it in cheese dip? Are you dipping it in guac? Are you dipping it? What are you dipping it in? And then it's deep fried. So now you've got 800 calories that have done nothing for your hunger,
Yeah.
you know?
Gonna sit down to eat that big Mexican meal, which is higher in calories generally anyway. And all of a sudden you're like, what did I do?
Yeah.
And then you get mad at the scale as you step on it in the morning.
So I'm all about if you're in that situation, take some chips out, put them on your plate, and only eat those. I think that's a good rule of thumb. Or a snack. Like if you're at a party, and this is a tough one for me, get away from the crock pots, get away from all the stuff there because it just you eat it while you talk. Like if I'm at a Super Bowl party, uh, if I hang out upstairs where all the food is, I'm gonna eat in a very unhealthy way because it's just there. If I'm downstairs, I'm watching the game and I don't even think about it. So sometimes out of sight, out of mind is a good thing as well. But um,
And if you're at a party, bring the stuff that works for you. Bring the freaking shrimp cocktail. Don't bring everybody likes to
right?
bring their favorite dessert. I ain't bringing my favorite dessert because I don't want to eat it. I'm going to bring the one that I least like. I'll share that with everybody else.
Yeah. Don't tell my mom that you like carrot cake. You'll end up with one. And
Oh, and hers is the best. Hers is probably the only carrot cake that I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll start tomorrow.
so, all right, guys, keep coming up with the questions. I know we're going to connect next week as well. Anything to add, Kim, before we sign off?
No, I think it was a good one.
All right. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.